Wow, it's always nice to go back to the old GTA games, enjoy yourself. It's just so relaxing and nice. But what is that I see? Oh my god, is that a Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition on all the old games? That's gonna be, whoa, what is that? That's disgusting. They really did fool us, didn't they? Now look, GTA has to be one of the biggest gaming titles ever. The only thing that comes close to it is maybe Call of Duty. But with COD's recent history, GTA has to be one of the most historic and proud titles in gaming history. Whether you love it or hate it, you can't deny the size of the franchise. And Rockstar has done a very good job at making games that not only sell, but are amazingly fun to play even years after the release of the game. And this is not talking about all the online stuff, as fuck, that's a different video all in itself. Yeah, so let's move on. Even games like Red Dead Redemption have amazing stories that are so fun and amazing to play. And it looked like Rockstar could really do nothing wrong, especially in the modern time. Well, let me introduce you to Grand Theft Auto The Definitive Edition, a remaster of all the old classic 3D era main games, including GTA 3, Vice City, and the one and only San Andreas. And these games were absolute classics, made for the modern fan to enjoy and the classic fans to relive some of their favorite games. But something wasn't right, and these games felt off. And by off, I mean they looked like shit. So yeah, this game got a lot of criticism, and it was fair. But as it's 2025, has it gotten better? And is this actually something that's worth getting now? Have they improved the game and fixed the bugs that ruined this game? Well, let's find out as we ask the question, what the hell happened to the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition? But before we get started, if you could go and check and see if you're subscribed to the channel below, especially if you've been enjoying the videos, it would really help us out a lot, as it's only about 0.5% of you are actually subscribed. So thanks guys. Now before we really get into this video, I will not be covering the story of these games, as the stories have been out for decades, and to my knowledge, they have not changed from the originals. This video will be going over more into why this game failed, and why this game was basically unplayable at launch, and if this game has fixed any of its problems. And with this being the most recent of the GTA games, as you could say, should we be worried about GTA 6? Many questions that we'll be trying to answer here in this video. So before we get into the start of this video, let's ask the question of, why did they make this game? And I have two thoughts that come to mind. Chapter 1, the reasoning for this game. Firstly, this game came out to give new players a chance to enjoy these older games on a modern console, and I honestly think this is a great idea. Now, unlike some things like The Last of Us that have so many remakes and remasters that it's basically on every single PlayStation console since the release of The Last of Us, these games haven't been on current generations of consoles for years. So people who didn't grow up with a chance to play these amazing games finally have a chance to play these amazing games. And I love this. This is an amazing idea. And it even gives a chance for us veterans to play these games and enjoy them again. Do you know what? I can't believe I've just called all of us veterans. I really don't think we're that old. Right? But with what was supposed to be a nice new coat of paint to make it look nicer than the originals, what I will get to later. Now, for someone like myself who has some experience with these games, most of the time, I was never playing these games for the story. I was just playing the game. But realistically, I just sit there and play with all the mods on. God, I can remember back in the day playing with all these mods. Oh, it was amazing. It was so much fun. Who else could remember just getting down, having your piece of paper and handwriting every single mod on there so you could just cast them in the game? I've had it on a piece of paper or in a little book. It was one of the funnest times to be a kid and playing these games. You know, I honestly look back and I do miss those times. But look, back on topic, this gave a lot of us a chance to finally enjoy the campaigns, who may not have had a chance to play them properly, especially me, as I just didn't give a fuck about them back in the day. But now as an adult, I finally had a chance to properly enjoy these games for what they could really offer. But you're probably asking now, what would the other reason be to make this game then? Or this trilogy of games, you could say, and quite literally it would be just as a money grab. And with the way the game looks and performs, it's definitely looking like the money grab option is the option that they've really chosen. And the sad part about it is they really did just prey on the nostalgia of these games. And when it was released, for lack of better words, it realistically just shafted all of us. Chapter 2, how bad this game really was. Now look, you're probably wondering why this game copped so much shit, and that's because it did not deliver on its promises. Now yes, they did give us the free games that they had promised, but they said that it would be a remaster, not a fucking downgrade. Now how is this such a downgrade from the original games? Well, let's start with the small things, but first, let's remember the time difference between these games and when they first came out. So little things in the older versions of these games that can look a bit shit now can be fixed up. You know, so when we're playing it in a modern version, it looks fine. But if you really want to see how lazy this was, just play through the first mission of GTA 3 and tell me if something looks off.
Here's one for people who were so hip, if you know what I mean. It hurt.
Why does the rain look like a fucking filter in the 2020s from a company like Rockstar? And you're probably asking, why am I being so nitpicky with such little details with the game? Well, that's easy. It's always best to start with the not so bad stuff and get progressively worse. And that brings me to why do the character models look so fucking ugly? Like, it's honestly just fucking comical at this stage. And just for an example, like, look at CJ's sister. Why does she look like this? In the old game, she looks fine, but in this new one, she looks so fucked. Now, I don't expect the characters to look amazing, but why is the older game doing a better job at this? Like, yes, the older games with limitations for the software that they could use, but why does she now look like a fucking fish? I preferred her with less bulging eyes, and it sucks because some characters are fine, but others just look so bad that it's just comical. And again, with GTA San Andreas, Officer Tenpenny. Now, realistically, I don't think they did a bad job with his design, but a quick spoiler alert. In his death scene, why does he look like this? Well, that's because he did it in the original game. Yes, but it looks so much worse here. Just look at it. It's the stuff from fucking Nightmares, and I almost pissed myself looking at it. Like, I honestly thought this was some visual bug until I seen it in the original game. But with the game being in HD, it just looks so much worse now, and not in the good way. Honest to God, if a little child walked into the room as this scene was playing, how the fuck would you explain this abomination to the parents, huh? Hey, it's alright, Billy. He's just pulling an ugly face for a competition.
Because you're black!
And look, for a remastered game, yes, having things look shit isn't great. And I get that. But at least you can look past it if the game is fun to play and feels good to play as well. And that's where a lot of the issues really start to show their ugly head around this trilogy. And I agree with the statement. If a game looks bad, I can get around that if the game feels good to play and is fun. Well, this game has so many bugs, it has been almost unplayable at times. And some of these glitches are from the original games, what is fine, I guess, if that's what you were looking for. But there were some glitches that were so shit, and they kept in all these new bugs that really hurt this game. But before we get into that, the AI in this game was atrocious. And yes, it's not like the AI has ever been that good in these older GTA games. And you know it's fine. If you want to have these moments where the AI is shit, go ahead. But I got so fucking sick of hearing this one quote that we all know so well.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.
But the AI also had a shit ton of bugs as well. Now, I'm not going to go over all of them, otherwise we're going to be here for hours. And honestly, I would rather rub sandpaper over my bumhole. But hey, let's go over a few of my favorites. Now we have the classic of an AI just running into walls, not going to the mission area so you'd have to wait for ages, or just restart the mission, you know, the classics, we've all seen this one before. But one of my favorite ones, in a funny sense, had to be when you got slammed by a car into another. particularly the back of your car hitting the front of their car. Then the AI car would always be up your ass chasing you. Well, that's what it felt like at first, and I thought it was just some Karen trying to commit some sort of road rage. But if you hopped out of the car, they would just take your car or keep going for you. And when I say take your car, I don't mean hop out of their car and steal your car. I meant they would push it along. And look, I don't get scared by much. I play lots of horror games just to try and get scared, and it never works. It fucking sucks in all honesty. But this shit actually gave me some anxiety. I don't know why, but maybe the fucking tractor going 200 kilometers an hour is a bit fucking unsettling. But now we start getting to the more annoying ones. And one of these glitches has to just be the AI not leaving you alone, especially when you need them to go somewhere to progress through the game. And you would have to restart the game to fix these bugs. And this gets old really fucking quickly, and should have been something that was never an issue in the first place. And I swear to God, every single time I played San Andreas, CJ's girlfriends would never fucking go back into their house when I dropped them off. I also had an issue where I just lose my loadout and guns. And this wasn't from missions where, yes, you'd lose them. No. This would be just out in free roam. I might lose a gun here and there, or I'd just lose the entire fucking loadout that I had. And this was shit because I could just be in the middle of a gunfight and then poof, nothing. And I'd just fucking die. Now, I also know that everyone had a variety of different glitches, and it looks like not everyone had the same bugs. What is really fucking weird is I tried to bug my game out when researching this video to try and get different bugs that other people were getting, but some of these bugs I just never got to work. Now, none of these can compare to the worst glitches I had while playing this set of games. Now, if any of you are very new to the channel, I was originally going to do a series on these sets of games years ago, and how that idea has crashed and burned. But when I started playing Vice City, something happened. Something that really fucked with me and ruined my opinion on the trilogy. So when I started playing the mission Guardian Angels, which is not a very memorable mission, something that ruined the whole game happened. So as I started playing it and got to the location of the shootout, something weird happened. It just wouldn't start and I got stuck in the mission. I couldn't die as I had no explosives at this point in the mission. The cops wouldn't kill me as you didn't get stars when this mission was active. And no matter how I entered the mission, I just wouldn't be able to get past this point. So I ended up reluctantly starting a new save file with the same issue eventually making me uninstall the game to try and fix this. And it was also no good. I quite literally got hard locked in this mission. And because I couldn't get out of the mission, you probably guessed it, it made the game unplayable. I couldn't even go back to free roam after getting stuck like this. So all I could do was shoot random people, run out of ammo, and just turn the game off and start again. And this was crushing, as this was really early mission in the game. Like realistically, you could get to this in one sitting if you wanted to. And having the game cut so short is an absolute fucking disgrace. Like realistically, how did a company like Rockstar have this happen? And because of all this, the longevity of the game just doesn't exist. And really, after you play the game, there is nothing there to keep you wanting more. Even the little things like 100% in the game just feels so pointless when the game was in such a broken state. Chapter 3. Fixing the bugs and issues. With everything that went wrong with this game upon launch, it rightfully gained a reputation with the player base. And because of how bad it was, it became a meme. Yeah. And you know what? I kind of like it this way. It's kind of funny to think about it like this. Like, yes, it's sad to see it in a terrible state for people who spent their money, but the idea of this definitive edition being, well, so bad, it's kind of funny. But that's how everyone remembers this game, or set of games, as a giant joke and nothing more than that. But now it's been a few years. Has the game improved from where it started? Or is the game still a mess that it was on launch? Well, with updates, the game has improved a lot now. It's not perfect by any means, but at least I can play the fucking game now without getting hard locked out of it. Now, I don't know how many of you are going to care about my experience, but after playing GTA 3, I went to Vice City and didn't play it for years after getting hard locked in that level. And after talking to a friend, I decided to give it another go, thinking after all this time, there would have had to have been an update that fixed these problems. Well, at least especially the hard locking problems. And lo and behold, the mission was working, and I won't lie, I was surprised. I really thought they were going to sweep this game under the rug and call it a day. But hey, they did fix this issue. Now, it's not perfect. This game still had bugs and glitches, but at least I could play the game, even if I had to restart the game to fix certain glitches. Like, it's not good, but it's better than the game being completely locked out. Now, the game's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what it was on release. And really, for such a bad launch, I guess that's what we can only really ask for now, isn't it? Now, I will say this, they did deliver on one of their promises, and that was that the game is in HD. And it does look good, besides some of the really ugly character models. And as funny as those characters do look, the rest of the game is much more stunning, especially when comparing them with the older counterparts. They are just more colorful and vibrant and more pleasant to look at in general. And even after reading the reviews on the games, they've all gone from negative to having mostly positive reviews now. Except for GTA 3, because Clyde is fucking boring because he's a fucking mute. And from what I've seen, they've actually improved some of the features from the older games, including shooting, that could feel really clunky on the older games. And I personally like the inclusion of the weapons and radio wheel. What I know is different from the original, but I think it just makes the games cleaner and better to play. Now, I know they took some of the music off the game, which I'll get into a little bit later, but personally, I think the game did have the right idea, but it was just rushed, and because of this, it gave the game a really bad rep. But there was something else that happened. Something that was really going to hurt the player base of these games. Chapter 4. Rockstar's biggest mistake. Now look, I stand by what I said before at the start of this video. It's an amazing idea to have these games on the newer generation of consoles for players to see some of these early roots of the GTA games. And when I got this game, I didn't have a PC. I did have a shitty little laptop that couldn't run any of these games to save its life, and if I had tried, it would have blown that laptop back to fucking Kingdom Come. But for the Xbox and PlayStation players, this was a really good idea to give them the option to give them a chance to experience them. And Switch players, if anyone really wanted to play these games on Switch. But what about the PC players? Did they really need something like this? Especially when they have all the games they could ever want at their fingertips. Now, from a financial point of view, this would be a really dumb way to think about this, because if you would be cutting it off from the PC players, a big chunk of your players wouldn't be able to buy your new games. And you know what? Some players might only want to play the newer versions because of the graphics, or they might want an easy way to compare both versions of these games. And it's way easier to do this on something like PC. And if you want to experience these older games, well, I have two words for you, and they are too bad. That's right, too bad, as Rockstar had decided to unlist the game so no one could play the old ones, and you had to get the new ones what were only available in the free game bundle. So you couldn't even pick and choose which one you wanted. You had to get all free, even if you only wanted to play one of them. Now, if that doesn't annoy you, and you might be thinking, well, why would we care about the older games? Well, remember, the new ones when they came out were absolutely unfucking playable. So again, if you want to experience these games, too bad, because now the versions of these games that work properly were gone, and they are still gone to this day. So fuck, I don't know if they're ever going to come back. But why were these games so much worse than any other Rockstar game on launch? Well, that's because it wasn't made by Rockstar. This was made by the crappy mobile company who made the phone versions of GTA San Andreas. That's why the games felt so weird and looked so weird and were broken beyond belief. It's also the reason why half the music's missing from the games. So what you're telling me here is that a company that makes phone games rushed a GTA trilogy game out for PC and consoles that was broken the high hell, and then to top it all off, they removed the original games off the Steam page. So no one who wanted to play the unbroken games could now, and they thought the fans were just going to like this. No warning, the old games were just gone now what looks like forever. And this really hurt the PC community, as they just had something taken away from them. And you know gamers, you take something away from that they like, they're gonna fucking scream at you. Now, I do believe if you already own the old versions of these games, you can still play them, but you just can't buy them anymore. And to me, that sounds like a really dumb financial decision. Or maybe they knew these games were rushed and that nobody was going to buy them. So they just made the decision to get rid of the old ones and just have everyone have to buy the unpolished versions instead. And this was terrible. Not only because they had forced the players to get this new version of the games to play, not only because it was unfinished and broken every step of the way, not even the fact that to play these games, you would have to buy a whole bundle, even if you didn't want to play certain games, but the fact that they had removed a piece of media that to so many people loved and replaced it with what was essentially garbage upon its release. And the hardest part about it now is that the game actually works somewhat like it's supposed to. So does this excuse their actions? And is the collection of these remastered games actually worth getting? Well, after all the changes that have happened to this game, it really has improved out of sight. And if you don't believe me, even check some of the reviews on Steam. There are now actually positive reviews of this game instead of just negative ones that are coming more and more often as the game keeps going. Yes, it did have a horrible start to life, with what was essentially the game being unplayable and a giant waste of money to anybody who got it. And the fact that they removed the original copies is really a disgrace, and there is no other way to put it. But is the game worth it? And I think, yeah, if you have the money to get it, it's definitely worth giving these games a go now that they have fixed the majority of the bugs that swarm this game. But should we be worried about the release of GTA 6 coming with this terrible addition to the GTA series, especially with the launch in particular? Well, I think that we should be fine for two reasons. First, they have been working on this game for so long now that they have had so much time to check for bugs, especially to not be as bad as what this set of games was on launch. And secondly, Rockstar will actually making this game and not just the mobile game company. So honestly, that'll probably fucking help. But look, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel to help us grow this channel throughout the year. You'd be an absolute legend and be able to see some of the new content that we are making for this year. And it is going to be a big year for this channel. And if you're feeling spicy, come join the Discord server in the link in the description down below. And thanks again, guys, for watching this video. And I hope to see you all in the next one.
You can kiss my booty. Well, damn, excuse me.
Fucking idiot.
Oh, my man.
Who the fuck is this guy? Run!
This is not what I wanted.
You know, this part of the skit too, it's like, wait, whoa, what the fuck?
Ah!
Run! Everyone's running!
Like a little, what's the frame?
Get out of the way, man.
Well, do
She's running away!
I fucked up again.
So are you recording this stuff too?
Yeah, this is all being recorded.
Oh, I was gonna say, surely you have to have like some blooper in the end where you're just like going around fighting the NPCs. I'm trying to get a shot! Fuck off!
Oh, she's coming back! Hello!
Oh god, she's running towards you. Yeah! Now come back here, woman!
I punched the fucking glasses off her head. Alright. Oh, he actually died.
Oh boy. That was pretty funny.